Alright guys, today we got the Pixel 6 Pro versus the Pixel 9 Pro XL here. This could be a pretty good upgrade if you're thinking about upgrading your 6 Pro. Now, as far as the design, you do have a new design. You have a camera island now instead of the camera bar, which I really like the camera bar, but I really like this camera island design. I think it looks really good in person. At first I didn't like it when I saw it, in the pictures, but once you see it in person, it's really nice. And Google did a great job with the overall hardware this year. It kind of feels like a 13 Pro Max just with a different camera setup. But overall, I really like the hardware on this phone. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant as well too. Now you do have Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, so it's a little bit more durable than the original, Gorilla Glass Victus on the Pixel 6 Pro. And they're both IP68 dust and water resistant. And one thing I just don't like about the Pixel hardware in general is that I wish they would move the volume rocker to the left side, because I really don't like it being that close to the power button. But besides that, the hardware is excellent on both. The Pixel is definitely a little bit more rounded, so I think it fits in the hand a little bit better. But a lot of people, it just depends on your design preference. The Pixel 6 Pro has a kind of a more squared off, but it's not as aggressive as something like S22 Ultra or something like that. So it really depends, but I actually do like the hardware upgrade here. Let's talk about the display upgrade here. So the Pixel 6 Pro has a 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED display, 120 Hz HDR10+, 1440p 512 for the PPI, and it goes up to 800 nits max brightness. And it's a pretty nice display color-wise. They look almost a little bit, identical as far as colors. I think the Pixel 6 Pro actually looks a little bit more vibrant to me, actually. But the Pixel 9 Pro XL here, it does have a 6.8-inch display, so it's a little bit bigger. It's LTPO as well too. And then you also have the OLED 120 Hz HDR10+. The biggest difference here is going to be the max brightness. It's 3000 nits, so it's much brighter in direct sunlight as well too. And then you also have a 1344 by 2992 resolution, so basically, pretty much 1440p. Resolution wise, they still, everything still looks sharp. It still looks the same, and it's 486 for the PPI. Overall, I think the displays look great. A lot of people like the more square look as well too, which I do like as well. I think it looks a little bit more like a TV screen. But it really comes down to, your personal preferences and stuff like that. Also, what you'll notice here is that the punch hole on the Pixel, on the older Pixels, are actually smaller. So this one actually got bigger, as you can see. It's just a little bit bigger. See if you guys can see that. So it's slightly bigger, which is it's not really a big deal, but it's just something that I noticed. All right, so let's talk about the specs a little more here. So on the 9 Pro, we do have the Pixel Tensor G4 processor on here, 128 gigs of internal storage. Again, I'm gonna say it every time, criminal to charge to have 128 gigs at over $1,000. It's insane. And then you also have 16 gigs of RAM on here as well too. The Pixel 6 Pro has the original Google Tensor chipset, so we're basically 4 versions in, and you can see not a crazy, well, I mean, this is a pretty decent jump. It's not as bad as when I was looking at like the Pixel 7 Pro in performance, and we'll talk about that. But both phones have Android 14. This has the original Tensor chip, 128 gigs and 12 gigs of RAM on here. And I want to go ahead and show you guys the... Alright, so we're on the 3D Mark, and you can see we ran the Wildlife Extreme test. You can see the score difference. We're at pretty much 15 frames, 12.26 frames. So performance wise, it is going to be better. Obviously it's a big jump in terms of, it's been 4 iterations. And as you guys can see, we started off cooler on the 9 Pro XL at 28 to 30, and this started off at 31 to 32. And we lost a percent on both of these, and you can see we're at 10 to 19 frames, we're at 5 to 16 frames. So performance wise is definitely better on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and Google is slowly, they're upgrading this chipset. But my thing about this chipset is that it's just not well optimized for gaming. That's my biggest thing to me. But the big difference here is going to be the phone not overheating in tough situations, like it being hot outside and you're filming, or you're just playing games for like something really intense like Genshin or something like that. Then you'll start to see the processor being better. But if you're a casual person on your phone, you will not see a big difference in performance here. And also there is a very weird, and this is probably a software thing, but there's a weird scroll lag on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and it probably needs a software update. But I noticed it's been a little bit kind of jerky. But yeah, as far as performance wise, it's not a big jump. Most people who buy Pixel phones, they're not they're not gaming, so it's never been a big complaint, I guess, that Google has gotten to kind of optimize these chips for gaming a little bit, or try to go, just give us really good performance like the Snapdragon processors. But these phones are fast. Like, I even think the Pixel 6 Pro is it's a pretty snappy device. Now, this is what I was talking about with the overall gaming performance here. So on the Pixel 6 Pro, it can still game, right? You can still play PUBG at smooth extreme. This one, it can't play at HDR extreme. Yeah, so this one does alright, but I think the 7 Pro and the 8 Pro, they play at HDR extreme. This one does fine at gaming. Like I said, this is fine for a casual gamer. Come in here, play a couple matches of PUBG, if you're not really just playing for fun. But if you're more on the competitive side, then you're gonna want that 90 frames, 120 frames that you get on the Snapdragon chipsets. But that's just not here, and it's like I said, we're on the 4th version of this chipset. I don't think it'll ever be optimized at this point. It doesn't. I was hoping that it would at least have like 90 frames. But yeah, so they're fine for gaming, and definitely the cooling is better. But again, my thing about the Pixel phones with gaming, I think people don't buy these phones to game. They buy them for pictures and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's my thing. So gaming is okay on these phones. Let's check out the speakers at max volume. Yeah, so the speakers on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, they're definitely a little bit better, but the Pixel 6 Pro has always had pretty good speakers, pretty good bass. So they're very close, but it's definitely a little bit louder on the 9 Pro XL, but not a major upgrade that you would really notice. Alright, so upgrade that I think you will absolutely notice is the fingerprint sensor. So we went from an optical fingerprint scanner, which was fine, especially considering the price, but since they upped the price, we got a new fingerprint sensor, and it is the ultrasonic one, and it's very fast. Absolutely love it. And yeah, so I have no issues with that. I'm really glad that they made that move. It's just much faster. Now, I think this is going to be a deciding factor for a lot of Pixel 6 Pro users. I can see if you don't find these cameras to be a significant upgrade, I can see a lot of people just sticking to the 6 Pro until it stops getting security updates. Alright, so the Pixel 6 Pro, it does have a 50 megapixel standard, 48 megapixel periscope telephoto, 4x optical, 12 megapixel ultra wide. It can shoot in 4K 60 with a 11.1 ultra wide selfie camera, and then that is 4K 30, and then this one goes up to 20 times zoom. The 9 Pro XL has a 50 megapixel standard, 48 megapixel periscope telephoto, 5 times optical zoom, 48 megapixel ultra wide. It shoots in 8K 30, and you also have a 42 megapixel ultra wide that shoots in 4K 60, and this one goes up to 30 times zoom. So check out these side-by-side stills and video. Let me know what you guys think. So I actually think this is a pretty good upgrade, and that is going to be the battery life. The battery life is better, and the standby time is better on the 9 Pro XL. It was something that I'm really happy about with this phone, and this is probably, you know, again, largely due to the chip efficiency here. It's being overall a little bit better. So the 6 Pro, it has a 5003 milliamp hour battery. You have wireless and reverse wireless charging on board, and that is 23 watts. And then the 9 Pro XL, it does have the 5060 milliamp hour battery, but 37 watt charging. So you are getting faster charging speeds a little bit. And then you also get your 23 watt wireless charging, and you also get reverse wireless charging with your standard 12 watt wireless charging. So overall, you do have a better battery life experience overall in general. It's slightly faster when it comes to charging speeds, and then also the battery life just lasts longer. Standby time is actually much better. So yeah, so I think that this is it's a solid upgrade, but I don't know if I would be like rushing to upgrade the 6 Pro, especially, you know, if you are not like a gamer or something like that, or you don't care about the AI stuff, because that's also plays a big part. I'm not really a big fan of the AI stuff. I think it's stuff that I would never really use, so I never really talk about it, but I might make a whole video on it. I do want to compare all the AI stuff when Apple and comes out with theirs. But yeah, it's just like the AI stuff is like one of the biggest things that they're trying to get people on. To me, it's just not interesting yet. I think in the future it could be definitely you know, a big thing. Oh yeah, the thermometer. So the thermometer is one of the things that they have on here. I keep forgetting it's on here because it's just a useless thing that nobody asks for. I really would love to have an IR blaster instead of the thermometer. I don't know why they put this on here. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious to see if people are actually thinking this is a good upgrade or not.